Most buyers end up shopping backwards, meaning they fall in love with specific cities, neighborhoods within cities, or homes that they see online before really working backwards from their budget. So in this video, I'm gonna do what I do with buyers during their search process, which is show you the data for top recommended suburbs or cities in the San Francisco Bay Area, including San Francisco, that match those budget ranges. If you're coming from outside of the Bay Area, then you wouldn't refer to these cities as suburbs of San Francisco. You would refer to them as perhaps secondary markets. Search today, of course, isn't about judging your budget. It's about making sure you can get the best bang for your buck, or it's about maximizing what that budget can accomplish in specific neighborhoods. Level 1, let's say $800,000 to $1 million. I'll even expand that in a moment to talk about some other cities that aren't as looked at, but are really on fire this spring. I have been since the winter, really. But in the $800,000 to $1 million category, I recommend San Leandro, Castro Valley, some parts of Oakland, some neighborhoods in Oakland where this can be accomplished, and also select parts of Hayward for different reasons. San Leandro is still recovering from 2021, 2022 peaks, meaning they haven't quite reached their 2021, 2022 prices. And median price in 2026, in March 2026, was around, or is around, $828,000. You can get everything from classic bungalows, 2-bedroom, 1-bath with sizable lots, close enough to the BART station, to newer construction townhomes closer to the coast and southern San Leandro. San Leandro has 2 BART stations, and you can check out some of my other videos on San Leandro and what it's like to live there in the East Bay. On that note, there's Castro Valley, which is unincorporated Alameda County. There's a cluster of unincorporated communities in that section of the East Bay, like Ashland, San Lorenzo, Castro Valley. Castro Valley does have a BART station and feels more suburban than some parts of the East Bay I'll go over in this video, but starting homes can range from $800,000 to $1.2 million, and condos and townhomes in that area are now pricing between $500,000 and $700,000, with HOAs between $300 and $600 per month. What's unique about Castro Valley? The highly ranked school system is one reason to eye this suburb of San Francisco. The public transportation access, if you're driving into Oakland or San Francisco, depending on the timing, it can be a quick commute. You're close to Lake Chabot Recreation Area, very hilly. There are flatter, more central parts, but the main strip is very quaint. And check out some of my videos in Castro Valley. Make sure if you are moving there for school zoning that you're not on the basically upper B Street side of Hayward, where Castro Valley addresses could be zoned for Hayward schools. San Leandro is still competitive. Average days on market, or median days on market for homes right now is 13 days. But I do want to say there are vast differences in the pricing based on that median that I gave you. In Estudio States, the median sold price in the last couple of months was above $1 million, and a $1.275 million median sold price. It's up 20% since last year. Washington Manor, on the other hand, is closing homes between $617,000 to $657,000. Another runner-up for this category between $800,000 and $1 million would be East Richmond Heights and Richmond North and East. East Richmond Heights, well, Richmond School District isn't as highly ranked as some schools in El Cerrito School Zone and El Cerrito School District. However, many people love North and East because there are affordable entry points for 3-bedroom, 2-bath homes with sizable lots, and the community feeling that they have when they're there. It has a rich sense of community in Richmond North and East. East Richmond Heights can feel a little bit more secluded, but you get elevation and views at price points below $1 million. You can feel like you're living in El Cerrito, but you're just a little bit further out. You don't have the same dense urban feel that you would in some parts of Richmond, especially as you get closer to the Richmond BART station. There is a Richmond ferry with more frequent trips to San Francisco, and there's also Richmond BART station. Budget level 2, we could consider move-up buyers between the $1 million and $1.5 million range. Still, you have many options at this price point in the East Bay, and then I'll compare those to some of the San Francisco neighborhoods we've already been exploring. So if you were considering Oakland, between the $1 million and $1.5 million range, you're highly probable to find homes in Temescal, 2-bedroom, 1-baths in Rock Ridge, pushing the 1.5 range, pushing the upper end of that budget. You've got plenty of options in Montclair, Cleveland Highlands, Santa Fe Gasco, if you care about BART proximity on the north side of Oakland. All those neighborhoods I named are perfect for that, except for maybe Cleveland Heights, Hayden Hill. There you'll find on that side of the lake bigger homes and bigger lots, which used to be San Francisco summer houses. So Oakland's a dominant market at this budget range. Out of 275 sales in the last 90 days, looking at Bay Area wide data, Oakland represented 143 of those 275 sales. And in that price range, the median sale price in Oakland was $1.275, but in that price range. That's not the median sale price of the city overall for single family home data. But our pricing strategy in the East Bay can be frustrating for those not used to it. We still price anywhere 15 to 30% below what we expect. Certain neighborhoods might be more transparently priced, as we say, than others. Berkeley is by far the most expensive on a price per square foot basis. In the last 3 months, buyers were spending $928 per square foot in Berkeley. In Northwest Berkeley, Southwest Berkeley, you're more likely to find ranch-style homes or bungalows with bigger lots that would sell either right above 1 million or close to 1 million. The median square footage of homes between the $1 million and $1.5 million range was around 1,400 square feet. And because the East Bay agents have a great practice of reporting the number of offers received per listing, I can report on the median number of offers per property here. And for Berkeley, it's 3 over the last 90 days, 3 per property. In Alameda, the island, well, if you're not afraid of a ferry commute, you want a community that's more kid-friendly or kid-centric, and you want more square footage, Alameda would be a consideration. Still competitive there, though homes on average sell for 18% above list price, at least from the last 90-day data, and homes are on the market for 13 days. El Cerrito has been a value standout for years. There's very little inventory there now, but over the last 90 days in this price range, the median sale price is $1.15 million. And you do get more square footage, bigger lot size than you would in Berkeley and Alameda. However, very competitive, 4 offers on average per property, and homes go for 22% over list price. There are mini bungalows that are about 1,100 to 1,200 square feet that will still sell for 1.2 million and sometimes below if there are other issues with the house. But if you're looking for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home in Memorial Park or some of the other competitive neighborhoods, you're likely to spend at the upper end of the range that I'm mentioning for this category. And of course, there's always very little inventory to pull conclusions from about the data. There are only 11 sales in the last 90 days. There's Richmond Annex, which had 15 median offers and went for 50% over list price. But the median sold price was $1,050,000. Oakland Oakmore has become more popular as people have been priced out of, especially at the 1.5 price point, Crocker Highlands and Lakeshore, mostly Crocker Highlands. Median number of offers over the last 90 days was 9, and homes went for 162% of list price. So if you're priced at $799, expect that the home will sell for above 1.2. There's also Oakland Bella Vista, which is not on everyone's hot hit list, but they're surprisingly 1.25 median sold price. That's above what I expect to see as more inventory or more data comes in for this neighborhood. Then Oakland to Mescal, there were fewer offers per property, but things were selling 56% above asking price. And that's one of the highest overbid ratios in Oakland. And then unsurprisingly, Berkeley Westbury, which had 4 offers per property with a 1.4 median sold price in this price range. And then Mira Vista and El Cerrito, 10 offers per property, 148% of list price. And that's definitely a sleeper neighborhood most buyers would miss or not expect to be so competitive. How would San Francisco compare to these neighborhoods and these cities if you have the same budget? Well, in San Francisco, there were 71 single family homes that sold at this range over the last 90 days. And you can compare that to Oakland, which had 143 sales, so double. So the median sale price was in that range for single family homes in San Francisco was 1.26, but where? Excelsior, Ingleside, Ocean View. Those are the 3 neighborhoods that had the most inventory between those budgets. There were 26 sales, and most of the homes were a 3-bedroom with 1,439 square feet. The next areas where you're likely to find a single family home in San Francisco at this price point was Portola, Sunnydale, and Visitation Valley. And then in Bayview, Hunters Point, there was less inventory, but 7 sales in this price range. And I bet you could find more sales below this price range for Bayview. But this is the most affordable zip code in this data set. This is one of the only areas where a 4-bedroom would clear this budget. And then there were 3 sales, surprisingly, in West Portal and Forest Hill, which was not somewhere I would think, but the median was 1.475. And these were 2 bedrooms with slightly above 1,000 square feet. So it's not the Forest Hill extension mansions you might think of when you think of those neighborhoods. Of course, I'm not saying don't buy in San Francisco, but if you have your heart set on a single family home and at least 3 bedrooms, that $1 million to $1.5 million budget will go much further in the East Bay than it will in San Francisco. Let's talk about budget level 3, which is 1.5 to 2.2 million. When you cross this $1.5 million threshold and you've been looking at some of the East Bay cities I was mentioning before, you might want to consider, people think it's a part of Oakland, but it's not. It's a separate city, and that's called Piedmont. Why would people choose Piedmont? Piedmont's quality schools, the suburban feel with urban proximity. It's completely surrounded by Oakland. So there's Baja Piedmont on the Oakland border with the Rose Garden area and basically Piedmont Avenue neighborhoods close to Lakeshore and Adams Point. Crocker Highlands also borders Piedmont at some of its edges. Because of its size, it's incredibly well managed. Everything's independent with the city, though it does rely on sometimes Oakland resources. Piedmont does have its own police force and fire department. Outside of Piedmont, Piedmont, my other anchor recommendations are Thousand Oaks and Berkeley, maybe Northside and Berkeley, and then Burlingame in the peninsula. If you're thinking about your commute, if you're working for one of the bigger companies there, you're okay with a suburban lifestyle and you want a short commute, Burlingame would be my recommendation. Central Piedmont is where the largest homes are located, or at least have sold in the last 90 days between this price point. So almost 3,000 square feet, 12 offers on average, and 40% over list price. The median sold price is 1.937500. And then Lower Piedmont or Baja Piedmont is the most aggressive or most competitive submarket. So there are on average 8 offers per property and homes sell for 51% over asking price. They're smaller homes, but you pay a higher price per square foot. Other recommendation is Thousand Oaks and Berkeley. This might be one of the most underestimated neighborhoods in the Bay Area for this budget. The median sold price within this range was 1.615 and less competitive than other parts of Berkeley. It seems like there's only been 2 offers per property and homes have sold for 26% above asking price, with a median square footage of above 1,600 square feet. In other parts of North Berkeley, the homes are averaging 5 offers and selling for 54% above list price with a $1.9 million median. And then in West Bray, the average number of offers per property is 4 and homes are selling for 60% over list price. Most space per dollar in the Claremont Hills and Berkeley, where you're only paying a median of $616 per square foot. But keep in mind, the Claremont Hills, just like some parts of the Berkeley Hills, will have inflated insurance costs because of high fire severity risk. Burlingame is the next recommendation at this price point, especially if you're working in the peninsula and looking for a city with highly ranked schools. In all of Burlingame in the last 90 days, there were only 8 homes that sold. And those homes sold at a median of $1,608 per square foot, which is the highest price per square foot of any other city at this budget range in this data set. The median home in these 8 sales was 1,290 square feet, 2 bedrooms. This is peninsula pricing in its purest form. Honorable mentions at this price point. One is Kensington, and no, not Kensington, England. This is again an unincorporated part of Alameda County, more affordable home for Berkeley professors. It still is in terms of price per square foot. You can get much greater square footage at a lower price point than in Berkeley. It has one of the best K-8 schools in the East Bay, and a lot of the homes are on the ridgeline or over the fault zone, but that means that they have elevation and views. Beautiful, beautiful views. Most people thinking about moving to the East Bay wouldn't necessarily put Kensington on their map. If you really want more space, that is your desire, and moving at this price point, I would look at the Tri-Valley and some Contra Costa markets. So Contra Costa, Walnut Creek, Lafayette, Orinda, these places still have BART stations, which is great. In Walnut Creek, you can get over 2,300 square feet at a lower price per square foot than in Oakland, and larger lot sizes on average. Same thing goes for Orinda and Lafayette. Will your lot be flat? Depends on where you are in Orinda and Lafayette, but expects you get double lots or half-acre lots in some of these cities. Danville, San Ramon, Alamo, you will find more new construction. Same thing with Walnut Creek, newer construction than you would in some parts of the inner East Bay, if that is a factor for you. Of course, the quality of the schools is one thing that drives folks to go across the tunnel, as we say. And here you're most likely to encounter list price that are more reflective of what the sales price will be. So things are more transparently priced in these markets that I'm naming. If I had this budget and I cared about being close to public transportation and an urban feel, and I wanted more square footage and I wanted high quality schools, I would look at Central Piedmont. And again, if high walk score were important and maybe I didn't have to commute on the I-80, I would choose Thousand Oaks. If it was important for me to be in Oakland, I would consider Crocker Highlands. And if my priorities were different and I were thinking about return on investment, I would probably investigate a golden duplex in a high walk score area of Berkeley, or a true multifamily, meaning 3 units and above, or if it was multifamily commercial, 5 units and above, and thinking about renting out to college students. That's what I would do with that budget. All this talk of different parts of the Bay Area or different budgets and what they can afford you in the Bay Area. If you're not sure, if you're moving from out of state or another part of California into the Bay Area, you're not sure which city or neighborhood might be right for you, click the link below for the quiz. Take the quiz and check out the relocation guide below. Budget level number 4, anything from 2.2 million to 3.5 million. And of course, I'll talk about different tiers within this budget range, but at this level, more options in the peninsula become available. Mateo County closed 2025 with median home prices around $2 million. Luxury properties saw 39% year-over-year growth in in spite of what was happening at lower budgets. Burlingame, San Carlos, Belmont, premium properties fall within this price range. Premium peninsula locations provide excellent schools, privacy, established luxury amenities, and of course, proximity to these major employment centers without the lifestyle compromise of having to commute 2 hours a day. Buyers who are on the edge of the $2.2 million price range in San Francisco might start to consider, if still working within the city, commuting to the North Bay. You can get much more square footage. Homes tend to be more transparently priced, and you definitely get much bigger lot sizes. It's also very normalized to live in, for example, downtown Mill Valley, or live on the outskirts of Mill Valley, but push the stroller down the hill without sidewalks and bike everywhere. So the pedestrian and bike culture are really strong in Mill Valley and some parts of Marin. Price range in Marin, for example, in Mill Valley specifically, the median sold price was $2.75 million, and that will afford you an almost 10,000 square foot lot. Cost to list ratios are between 102 and 110%, so properties are listed close to what they're expected to sell for. BART stations, of course, in Marin County, but you have one of the most beautiful commutes into the city and the Bay Area. In Mill Valley, you can get a 3,600 square foot property at less than $900 per square foot if you're patient, but entry-level homes start at 1,500 square feet at the same price point. But a typical home is 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, $1,100 per square foot on an almost 10,000 square foot lot. San Rafael is the space leader. There were 16 sales in the last 90 days. 6 of those 16 sales were 5 bedrooms, 3 baths. If square footage per dollar is a priority, San Rafael might be the first place I would look if I were looking in Marin County. On that note, Sausalito gives you the least amount of house price per square foot. You'll get under 2,400 square feet at $1,400 per square foot. Going back over to the East Bay, of course, you will have more choices in Central Piedmont, Upper Rockridge. Again, with Piedmont, it's a city within a city. It has its own services, but it's surrounded by Oakland and has the convenience of being in Oakland. Of course, there's no BART station. Your closest BART would be the Rockridge BART. Within Oakland, you will have more choices in more centrally located neighborhoods like Crocker Highlands, Trestle Glen, Rockridge. In San Francisco, there were 120 sales in the last 90 days that were between this price range, with a sizable for San Francisco square footage of the building above 2,200 square feet, barely. But the median lot size for this price point is 3,000 square feet. Of course, the space equation and the inland surprise, meaning that corridor past the tunnel, Lafayette, Danville, San Ramon, these cities, these suburbs of San Francisco, at this price point, give you way more space than other parts of the Bay Area. San Ramon has the lowest price per square foot at this price range, with an average days on market at 7 days. Danville is a close second, and homes sell for 100% of their asking price. Nothing more, nothing less. I mean, there are exceptions, but that's the data from the last 90 days. And then Lafayette is the most convenient of these 3 choices that I'm naming here because of its proximity to the BART line, assuming that you're commuting into the city or the inner East Bay, like Oakland, Berkeley. My personal recommendation, based on this price point, it depends on your commute, where you work. If you're working in the peninsula, paying a premium to be closer to work is a lifestyle trade I would make. If you have hybrid work, remote work, and still work in the city, and you want more space, but still proximity to BART, still proximity to an exciting urban center, then I would choose Central Piedmont or Baja Piedmont. If I had school-aged children, I would think about Berkeley and Thousand Oaks, perhaps Lafayette if I wanted more land with my house. And I've stopped at $3.5 million here because I'll consider this luxury for the San Francisco Bay Area, given that the median price of the entire Bay Area is $1.27 million when just looking at single family homes. But if your goal is to stay in San Francisco, you still have many options. But how does the size of the house and lot compare when looking at the Bay Area as a whole at this price point? Let's look at the most expensive markets in the Bay Area. Number 1, apex market, is Atherton, with a median sold price in the last 3 months of $10.5 million. 3 homes cleared $20 million over the last 90 days. This is the most expensive zip code in all of the United States. A recent top sale was 190 Almendro Avenue. It sold at $32.5 million. It was over 10,000 square feet, had 6 bedrooms, and a 1-acre lot. Hillsborough was the next most expensive median sold price in the last 90 days, and the median price in this price range of $3.5 million and above was $7.1 million. Next up in Marin County is Ross and Belvedere, with a median sold price of over $7 million, where Ross has a median sold price of about $6.94 million in the last 90 days, and Belvedere has a median of $6.5 million. Next up as most expensive expensive is Los Altos and Los Altos Hills, where in the last 90 days, the median price point above 3.5 million was 5.11 million. And for Los Altos Hills, slightly higher at 6.5 million. In Los Altos, there were 63 sales above 3.5 million in the last 90 days. Where are you likely to see these price points in San Francisco? Forest Hill, St. Francis Wood, Pacific Heights, Cow Hollow, Presidio Terrace, Seacliff. One of the most expensive sales in the last 90 days in San Francisco was 2830 Pacific Avenue, which sold for 27.5 million, and another home in Seacliff sold for 9.95 million. There were 118 sales in San Francisco above 3.5 million in the last 90 days. If you're looking for privacy, lots of land, proximity to a BART station, high quality schools, my recommendation at the $3.5 million to $5 million band would be Lafayette's Happy Valley or Upper Happy Valley. The only market in the data set where you can live close to Alanis Morissette, and 4 to 5 million gets you close to an acre of land with a 4,000 square foot home, and you're still only 35 minutes from San Francisco by train.